Here we go.
Hi, Carli, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming along today. You're from Vitality Naturally, I believe is your business name, is it?
It is for now. I may change that and just kind of come back to my own name. But yeah, that's a plan for the future, maybe.
So tell us a little bit about you, how and what do you do, and how did you get to the point of where you are today?
So I have a couple of hats. One is kind of well understood. I'm a qualified Pilates instructor. And the other aspect of what I do, which is what I'm really more passionate about, is coaching and facilitating and space holding using energy healing techniques, somatic and trauma-informed integrated practices, which sounds very, very wordy. And I do that with people who, well, those who find me, people tend to kind of cross my path when they need it, but also focused around sort of burnout, recovery, chronic stress management, nervous system dysregulation, and depression and anxiety. And they're the symptoms that people present with, but usually the kind of foundation of that is kind of complex childhood trauma based. And then they're just, their bodies are waking them up to decondition from that and heal from the trauma. So they get symptoms and then they kind of seek out support to get to the root of it.
And physical symptoms more.
Physical, yes, physical symptoms as well. So I've worked with people who have gut issues, chronic fatigue, psoriasis, even gynecological issues. And even though the people didn't come to me and say, I want help with these symptoms, a few weeks down the line, they've gone, hang on a minute, these symptoms are clearing up. Like, how does that work? And then they start to understand the mind-body connection and how profound that actually is as well. Yeah. So, sorry.
Yeah. I was just going to say, so how did you get to this point of?
Well, there's a story. So I suppose the turning point for me was really hitting a rock bottom burnout in 2017. And what that looked like was an inability to function. I was in a highly pressured work environment. I'd spent many years in the public and corporate sector trying to prove myself and taking on increasingly complex projects. And little did I realize that I was motivated by perfectionism and people pleasing and needing external validation. And so the pressure I put on myself to be perfect at my job, to be perfect as a wife, as I was married then, to be perfect at everything, I cracked under the pressure. And in hindsight, the warning signals had been creeping up for many years. I'd had a history of depression, I'd had irritable bowel syndrome, I'd suffered with anxiety. And yeah, so since 2017 to now, the undoing of all of that, the reprogramming of myself, the retraining as well in the modalities that I've found most powerful, has been a huge transformational journey. And the root cause for me in all of it was with my, kind of childhood dynamic and environment, being in a very dysfunctional situation at home. So yeah. So just people don't recognize that the symptoms that they're experiencing potentially have a long line of events that have actually led to that manifesting, because it's so hard to make that link. But it helps everyone understand that everything the body does is for a reason, even if the logical mind doesn't believe it or want to believe it.
Well, we're told take this drug and it will make it better, aren't we?
Exactly that. And I think I think allopathic medicine absolutely has its place, and it can be life-saving. And I think it can also be used as a quick fix and a symptom, it might alleviate symptoms, but it just masks the root cause. The root cause doesn't go away without that inner journey of healing. So yeah, I was medicated on antidepressants for pretty much all of my 20s and my 30s. And the slow tapering from that acted as a catalyst as well for everything that then followed. And not to dismiss anybody that's choosing to take antidepressants and is finding them helpful, but what I realized was that they were just masking and repressing what actually needed to be healed. But what I didn't know was what a journey that healing process would be.
Yeah,
it continues to be.
Yeah,
because it's not a quick fix.
No.
But it is a profound one.
Yeah.
And what I realized, I burnt out, yeah. But what I realized is that I'd been making decisions from the wrong motivation. I'd not been making decisions from like my core self, from the truth of who I am. I'd been making decisions from like my unresolved trauma and my wounds. I was driven by something, not me. And so that is a one-way ticket to burnout and fatigue, because we're living out of alignment with who we really are in that space.
Yeah, I love that, actually. I just think that needs to be repeated, probably, because that was quite a powerful thing. Because I often hear people talk about burnout and how to avoid it, but never to address the underlying.
No, that is something that I've got goosebumps now as you've said that, and that's something that I really want to portray and make clear. And I think I could do that to do that better. But yeah, the absolute root of burnout, in my understanding and my experience, is a mismatch between who you really are and and how you're living your life. And that might be in your work, that might be in your personal relationships, that might be in your romantically, friendships, family, whatever it is. But in some way, shape or form, or in all of it, there's a mismatch somewhere. And so, like, as I'm describing it, I've got this sort of image of someone being like pulled in two different directions. A bit like pushing a boulder uphill. It's exhausting. Yeah. And the chronic stress that the body is under, that we normalize because we desensitize to it. And like the knock-on effect of that, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, it's like a snowball effect. It just
we almost praise people actually for becoming stressed, because, well, look at them, they're achieving or pushing and whatever it is. But
yes, the glorification of busyness, and in reality, that incessant need to be busy and productive all the time is in itself a trauma response. And a socially celebrated behavior. But one of the things that I write about in some of my blog posts, and one of the kind of taglines I really like to use, because what I really feel like, the work that I do with people, I feel like it helps them come back to radical self-care in what is a chaotic world today. Because to actually consciously choose to take care of yourself, to decondition, to heal, to come back to the truth of who you are, goes against the grain of what our kind of culture tells us to do. And so I think it's a courageous journey for those that choose to go on it. You know, it's not right. It doesn't feel right for everyone, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But it is a courageous journey. And I think I might be digressing here, like to go on that courageous journey, it's really important to be held well, to find the right people, places, support network, community, practitioners, facilitators to hold you through that. And that's something that was partially missing at the beginning of my journey, because I just thought I was losing my mind. I thought I was going completely insane. And you know, if I'd had then the support network and community and understanding that I've got now, it would have made that journey so much easier. I'm not saying it wouldn't have been painful, because it can be, but it would have just felt, yeah, it wouldn't have felt like I was flailing around in the dark and losing my mind.
Oh, I'm sorry that was the experience for you.
I trust that I had that experience so that I could help other people have a different experience. Yeah, that's the silver lining I'm finding in it anyway.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, I certainly have experienced some of your work and think it is beautiful and very profound, and it has certainly shifted things within me. We've just had 2 sessions or so.
Yeah, 2 sessions in.
So I've signed up to have more and more, because I really value that inner inquiry. I think is so important, and I know how it can shift stuff within, and it's so thank you for helping me on that journey.
My absolute pleasure. It's hard to articulate sometimes, isn't it? It's like, you know, I call myself a coach, but like you said, it's not coaching. It's
far deeper than that. Yeah,
it is deeper than that. But I'm not a therapist in the traditional talking therapists meaning of the word. You know, I can't, and I wouldn't call myself a therapist, but you know, you could say, I don't know, practitioner, facilitator, space holder. It's all of those things. I would say mentorship as well, because I draw on my own experience to support others, not to project it onto them, but I found it's helpful when people can kind of understand that they're not alone, that other people have gone through stuff too. Yeah. So I'm delighted to hear that you've had such beautiful shifts just in the first 2 sessions. I know there's so much more to come.
Perfect. I'm looking forward to it.
What I've seen happen, because you know, I don't decide how many sessions somebody has. They have complete agency over that. They choose, and they might initially sign up for a particular number, and then they might extend that. Some people then kind of come back ad hoc after that, just as and when. But what tends to happen, if someone kind of says, right, I'm going to have a container of 6 sessions, then they tend to go on this journey, like sessions 3 and 4 go really deep, and then like 5 and 6 they sort of come back out. So they sort of go on this journey. Each session is a journey, but then overall across all 6 sessions or 8 sessions or however many ends up being one big journey. So it's lots of little journeys within a big one. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to
it. Yeah.
So carry on.
I was going to say, so I'm not sure how clear that is, or if you know, if what I've shared kind of makes sense.
I think what, in my experience, the people feel into it, don't they? And it isn't something that you necessarily need a lot of words to. It's an experience, and so I think there's enough within that to understand that it's a journey. And the question I was going to ask you was just, how do people contact you? How do they get hold of you?
That's a really good question. So I have a website, which is carlithorpe.com, which no one knows how to spell. So that's Carli, and then Thorpe as in the theme park, carlithorpe.com. And on there, it's got information about what I do, a little bit of my background. You can find out what my qualifications are. You can get in touch with me there. You can read my blog posts on there. I post one every month, always aim to inspire people to that inner inquiry journey. There's a contact me form, so people can get in touch, or they can also book a free discovery call with me just to find out more and see if I always see discovery calls as like a two-way thing. Is for someone to decide whether I'm the right facilitator for them, but also for me to feel into if I feel I've got the the skills and capacity to support them, and if not, then I can refer them somewhere else. But yeah, I think there has to be like a resonance between two people to work together, because trust is so important. If you're going to go deeply on an inner journey, then you need to be able to trust the person that's holding you and build trust in yourself in that as well. So yeah, so they're the main ways that people can get in touch. And I've also got my Instagram page and my Facebook page, which are Vitality Naturally, so they can find me on there too.
Brilliant. Thank you. Well, thank you for coming along today and talking about what it is that you do, and hopefully other people will be inspired to check out your website and come and have some sessions too.
Thank you so much. Yeah, the real understanding of it comes through giving it a try, and then you can kind of go, so that's what it is. Yeah, so thank you so much for being on this journey too, and it's an absolute joy.
Thank you.